week's Torah portion, Shmini, is very interesting. When I reflect on this Torah portion, it's almost as though it's divided into two portions. The first section that Kevin talked about, the 8th day of the Mishkan, or the tabernacle, being anointed, we see that Aaron and his sons are being installed into the priesthood. Then there's an event that takes place. And then the second part of the Torah portion talks about the dietary laws, the things that are clean and unclean, and the things that should be eaten and the things that should not be eaten. And I want us to focus on the first part of the Torah portion. There was great pageantry taking place. We see the sin offering, the burnt offering, the peace offering, the grain offering. And, the Lord said to Moshe, that command Aaron and his sons to do these things. And you see it in succession, how they prepare the offerings for the Lord. And at the end of it, the glory of the Lord appeared before them. And the people were in awe. They could actually see and experience the presence of God. Similar to when they were at Mount Sinai and God gave them the 10 words. But if we look at Vayikra, Leviticus chapter 10, verses 1-3, we said, But Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aharon, each took a censer, put fire in it, laid incense in it, and offered unauthorized fire before Adonai, something that he had not ordered them to do. At this, fire came forth from the presence of Adonai and consumed them, so that they died in the presence of Adonai. Moshe said to Aharon, This is what Adonai said, Through those who are near me I will be consecrated, and before all the people I will be glorified. Aharon kept silent. In all the excitement and all the pageantry, 2 of the men that God had called forth to raise up to the priesthood was struck down, and their dad experienced that. We see something similar in the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 6, verses 6-9. And it's a story of when King David wanted to bring the Ark of the Covenant up to Jerusalem. And it says, When they arrived at Nachon's threshing floor, the oxen stumbled, and Uzzah put out his hand to steady the Ark of God. But Adonai's anger blazed up against Uzzah, and God struck him down in the spot for his offense, so that he died there by the Ark of God. It upset David that Adonai had broken out against Uzzah. That place had been called Peretz Uzzah, breaking out of Uzzah. Ever since David was frightened of Adonai that day, he asked, How can the Ark of Adonai come to me? And so again, we see a second demonstration of great pageantry, of David's excitement and zeal. In the section I didn't read, they prepared a new cart and placed the ark on it and was bringing it up to Jerusalem. And the cart stumbled. And I think any of us in that situation, if we saw a holy item of God about to fall, would put out our hands to protect it from touching the ground. There was an English theologian, Thomas Fuller, who said, Zeal without knowledge is fire without light. You see, in the zeal that these men had, they were in the presence of God, and they wanted to they got caught up in the excitement, and they were celebrating, and they just wanted to do what was right, but they didn't have knowledge of the Holy One. Moshe said to Aharon, God did not instruct them to do that. In the second section, God had commanded that the Levites would carry the ark, not put it on a cart, that they would carry it, and only they were allowed to touch certain items. And so in this day and age when we want to do what is right without the right knowledge, we run ahead and we run to destruction. In Judges chapter 2, verses 1-3, we say, Now the angel of Adonai came up from Gilgal to Bochim and said, I brought you up out of Egypt and led you to the land I swore to your fathers and said, I will never break my covenant with you. You, for your part, are not to make any covenant with the inhabitants of this land, but must tear down the altars However, you have paid no attention to what I said. What is this you have done? This is why I also said, I will not drive them out before you, but they will live by your flanks, and their gods will become a snare for you. So again, we see that God has given us commandments. He's given us instructions, and we have to abide by those instructions. It's not about jumping around. It's not about, oh, the Spirit has moved me without knowledge of the Holy One. Yes, that's all good, but without knowing what God says in his word, we will run forth to destruction as this man did. In Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10, it says, fear of Adonai is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One. And so it's not far off. It's right here contained in this book. And so many studies have been done that if you look at households throughout the U.S., there are 5 and 6 Bibles and so many Bibles sitting around our homes. But unfortunately, most of them are collecting dust. We're not reading them. We're not seeking God. It's not enough to appear here once or twice a week and believe that you'll be filled with the Spirit and that will carry you through. It's not enough. Each and every one of us have to seek the Lord personally. Each and every one of us have to experience him day after day and find knowledge of the Holy One, and it's only found in his word. So although we see in Shemini what occurred and the hurt, the pain, the disappointment, and the question that many people ask, why would a good God do such an awful thing? They're serving him, and we see that all throughout our congregations and churches, that we wonder, why is this happening? Could it be that we've run forward without knowledge of the Holy One? Shabbat Shalom.